Plus, there's always a shop where you can get a snow globe in July and a t-shirt that says Delaware on it.
Who wouldn't want that? With my luck, it would take out my roof and my neighbor's. Ooh, sorry about your roof, George. You know what? You don't have to give back my weed whacker. It's okay.
There was never any measurements or trigonometry figuring, how tall and where are we falling at? No.
Yeah, it's a maple.
It was just
Leaves starting to turn. This week's sponsor is Vagrant Attorney Seltzer. Unfortunately, after Jim was let go, he was forced to sleep on his habeas corpses. I remember looking it up, and it turned out they were called catkins, some kind of tree flower sperm.
Ugh.
I'll tell you what, that's got to be the worst Pornhub video ever.
Yeah, nobody clicks on asexual porn.
No. Now you can get a biscuit with your chalupa in the same visit, mashed potatoes with your quesadilla, an overflowing trash can, and an empty napkin dispenser to go with your triple bypass.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
So we should probably talk about the Hell Witch show.
Yeah, that was on Sunday. Pretty good darn turnout for or Monday. It was a Monday night.
Yeah.
So it felt like Sunday because we took Tuesday off. Hell Witch was great.
That man can sing and play the guitar like nobody's business.
You can't believe it's just 3 guys.
I know, it's crazy.
The drummer's a beast, Brian. So we interviewed Pat quite a while ago. So we're finally able to meet him. We got a picture, which I will get printed.
Here's the picture. Here's the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great night. They are amazing. Mark got a shirt.
I sure did.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yep. And we also went last night and saw Knocked Loose with Slipknot.
Well, we saw mostly Knocked Loose. We kind of left when Slipknot.
They were great, Knocked Loose, but we're just not big on going to see them in a hockey barn, So.
It was a huge arena.
Yeah.
We actually had assigned seating and we were kind of up in the nosebleed section. Although we did really enjoy the mosh pit going on with the banana guy. There's always got to be a banana guy these days. I don't know if this
or a horsehead guy or something.
Yeah. And there was a Bud Light guy too.
But it was good. We were able to live stream some of it on the other shows. That was kind of cool. Slipknot, I'm just so over them, whatever.
So I don't know. And honestly, I thought Knocked Loose kicked ass.
Yeah.
And when Slipknot took the stage and did the ridiculous 3 jump things and all the prison jumpsuits, I don't know. We just laughed.
The 2 DJs, they don't even make a difference. I just don't get it. Anyway. But let's talk about a house I used to own. Mm-hmm. So I used to have this house years ago. It was a single family home. We got a great deal on it, and I found out why later. There were about 13 giant trees in the yard.
Oh, my God.
These things were so tall, you could hear passenger aircraft scrape against the top branches from time to time.
This is your captain speaking. We may be experiencing some slight turbulence as we attempt to scale the Marchman Sitka spruce. Please note, the seatbelt sign is now on.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The branches of these things were monstrous. Every once in a while, we'd get a storm and some giant branch the size of a battleship would just be sitting in the middle of the yard with abandoned eagles' nests and displaced possums looking dazed. I always wondered, is that how a bird sanctuary gets started? The scariest was the really icy winter months when you could hear the wood snapping and cracking up above you when there was a gust of wind. I just knew one day a 1,000-pound hunk of petrified white pine was going to come crashing into my kitchen, which would seriously affect my enjoyment of coffee and scones, So I started talking to some of these tree removal guys, right? The guys with the hoists and the mulchers on their trailers. These guys wanted $1,200 a tree. And that didn't even include stump removal, which is apparently a whole nother racket.
I do think a cool name for the landscaping/stump removal company would be 1-800-STUMPED.
That's cool.
You can have that one. That's freebie.
There you go.
So growing up in my parents' house, we had these horrible sycamore trees. And if you've ever had them, you know the sycamore. They were the messiest trees. The bark was always peeling off and it made the trees look bedraggled and kind of homeless and definitely sick. They had these seed balls that were released in the spring that I had a swing in one of these trees, and if they fell on my bare skin, it would break out and make myself all irritated. Branches would break off. if a bird so much as shit on the branch, sending a potential death and/or concussion from above. And they also had super aggressive root systems that damaged our septic system, which we had to get replaced. And it could even leach into your water lines and screw that up.
You mentioned homeless, so this week's sponsor is Vagrant Attorney Seltzer. Unfortunately, after Jim was let go, he was forced to sleep on his habeas corpses.
Weird story about that tree. I had a swing attached to a branch of the tree, and I would swing and sing out there all the time. I was kind of more or less an only child. So I went out one spring happy, and I had just pulled back on the swing and was about to go forward when the branch broke off and landed at my feet, leaving me standing there with the chains in my hand and the huge branch at my feet that would have killed me seconds later.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Ugh.
Close one.
So anyway, my dad decided this tree needed to go.
He's a braver man than me. I would never even come close to that. And I've done many unsafe things with home improvements, but this takes the cake. Go ahead.
My mom insisted he call the service, as it was about 3 times as high as our house.
No way.
So one day she was at work, and I think I was home on summer vacation when I saw my dad running frantically, pulling at ropes, and then the earth shook like an earthquake. He ignored us and tied a series of ropes and tried to fell it the old-fashioned lumberjack way.
Wow.
You cut it from the bottom, timber.
Yeah.
You ever watch professionals? They'll take it down like section by section. They just don't fall it,
He had a pulley system of some kind. Yeah.
But it did start to fall towards the house, and he had to go pull on all the guide ropes to make it fall in the yard. He also didn't bother to cut off branches, so when it fell, it made giant holes all over the yard.
Sure, your mom was crazy about that.
Yeah. My mom was less than pleased, but hey, he did manage to save our house from the giant sycamore monster, narrowly avoiding the awkward call to the homeowner's policy, trying to explain this, accident.
Yeah, it's got to be kind of a stressful job, though, if you think about it. I mean, Zeke and Earl's tree removal service may have good ratings on Google, but they clearly aren't mathematicians. How do they know that that thing is going to fall in the right direction? With my luck, it would take out my roof and my neighbors. Ooh, sorry about your roof, George. You know what? You don't have to give back my weed whacker. It's okay.
It always struck me as funny when after that, we had several other trees on the property. He would actually call the tree guys out for an estimate. It was always the same scene, which I watched with amusement out my bedroom window. 2 or 3 guys and my dad just staring up at the top of the tree. There was never any measurements or trigonometry figuring, how tall and where are we falling at? No.
Yeah, that's a maple.
It was just...
Leaves starting to turn. Yeah.
For that, I was like, couldn't we have just sent a picture to get an estimate? That just the hands on the hips. Yep, needs to come down.
So I found out during my trials and tribulations, my sister-in-law used one of these Zeke and Earl services she had a lot of trees too, right? Same prices though, right? So I asked her, how did she get her yard cleared out? And she said, well, anytime John got a bonus or money for our tax return, I would spend it on tree removal.
God. Yeah, wow. Her husband must have been crazy about that.
Yeah.
No vacations, no golf trips, no days at the massage spa, no nights out at fancy restaurants, just uber exciting tree removal. Good times.
Yeah, good times. And then she added, yeah, I do miss the canopies sometimes now because our electric bill in the summer more than doubled after we got rid of the trees. So it's a lose-lose, folks.
Wow, so great. So either you live under impending doom, threat of roof cave-in, or triple your electric bill and AC usage. Excellent.
Yeah. Another thing, every May we would get shitloads of these fuzzy little caterpillar type things that would clog up the rain gutters. I remember looking it up and it turned out they were called catkins, some kind of tree flower sperm.
Ugh.
I'll tell you what, that's got to be the worst Pornhub video ever.
Yeah, nobody clicks on asexual porn.
No, I got to say, I went back and rewatched about an hour of old Seinfelds this week. Way too many pants jokes. Buying pants, taking your pants off at the doctor, trying to keep from wrinkling your pants. I mean, Christ, Larry David, can we try something different? We just did like 9 tree removal jokes. I mean, how much would you pay? Okay. You want to talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with Ian van Gemeren, guitarist for the Belgian melodic death metal band Axamenta. Can I get an amen? We have a swell little chat with Ian on everything from the band's on again, off again history, the making of the exciting new Spires EP, and there may or may not be a Toto geek out. So stay tuned for that.
I didn't see that coming at all. This song is called Spires Part 4. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth podcasts. And for $6.66 a month, you can get a runaway fire truck filled with Mark and Stace.
Lots of bonus content you can't get anywhere else, but only for our patrons. And just to become a member, less than you spend at Taco Bell for dinner.
Or Taco Bell combined with KFC, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
A&W.
Yeah. Lots more reviews that you won't see here. Negative reviews as well as positive. Fitness tips from Stace. You even get to journey into our garden. And there may or may not be a blind beer taste test coming up. I think it's high time we did one again.
I think it's time, as long as no animal poops right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it did happen one time.
Live TV, folks.
Live TV. I think it was a little better. Yeah. So head on over to Patreon and check us out. Don't forget to follow this show and share us with your friends because we are trying to spread the word.
And you'll also, any show we go to, I do try to live stream on Instagram, and I don't just delete them so that they stay up. So if you ever want to check out any of these bands that we are checking out for you, like Hell Witch, for instance, we have them up there, and you can see them in all their glory.
So, Combo Store Blues.
So, have you ever stumbled across one of those two restaurants in one places? There used to be one right up the street from Cross Keys. It was the Baskin Robbins / Dunkin' Donuts place. Anyway, I think this idea came from one of those rest stop / visitor centers on the turnpikes with Cinnabon, IHOP, Pizza Hut, and a disgusting overcrowded restroom, which always smelled weird, all under the same roof. Plus, there's always a shop where you can get a snow globe in July and a t-shirt that says Delaware on it.
Who wouldn't want that? Yeah.
You know, funny enough, but a lot of the rest stops in Pennsylvania and New Jersey are named after members of the First Continental Congress.
Wow.
If only Richard Stockton or Caesar Rodney knew the reward for their patriotism would be their very own memorial rest stop.
A nice shitty Roy Rogers to commemorate your events. Yeah. I am also fascinated by this idea of totally different stores under the same roof. If you've given up on life enough to order one of those gross KFC bowl things, what if I told you there's now also a Taco Bell just across the counter? Now you can get a biscuit with your chalupa in the same visit, mashed potatoes with your quesadilla, an overflowing trash can, and an empty napkin dispenser to go with your triple bypass. What was the boardroom conversation that merged Dunkin' with Baskin Robbins? Jenkins, they're already hooked on our Bavarian cream. All we got to do is throw in a scoop of Jamaican almond fudge and a waffle cone. Christ, they'll be around the block for it.
You know, hot donuts, cold ice cream, consumer brain freeze. The weirdest one I ever saw was a Taco Bell Pizza Hut. This must be for families with members who cannot decide on the same nationality of food. I even heard plots, this is true, of combining an IHOP and an Applebee's. Maybe add in an ER for heartburn and drive-through heart paddle shocks to complete the one-stop shopping.
And last time I was having bacon and eggs, I was thinking, wow, a watered-down drink from Applebee's would go great with this. Margaritas without any alcohol. It's going to be huge. I like the stores that decide they need to be inside the Walmart, right? So you're in a hurry, you need to grab a bag of charcoal and a plunger, and your 9-year-old daughter spots the purple bunny sleeping masks at Claire's. Dad, they've got the unicorn bling flip phone lip gloss set. We're never getting out of here.
Hey, look. I know we're grocery shopping, but there's a nail place. get our toes done. And a vision center. Wow. Let's get those peepers of yours checked and a fresh set of specs. Oh, fuck. Let's just vacation here.
The Walmart, really? Long John Silver's and Starbucks together. Who hasn't dreamed of dipping their clam strips in Java chip frappuccino?
Why, you ask? It turns out a lot of these companies are owned by one parent company called, get this, Yum, all in capitals, out of Louisville, Kentucky, who apparently like to double or triple down. I mean, there is no better competitor than yourself. Even Procter & Gamble knows this. They make several different detergents under different names, all made by Procter & Gamble to compete with themselves. It also seems like you can stick a Subway anywhere. Huh. Nobody uses that office supply cabinet on the second floor. Let's make it a Subway. All you need is a little counter space, plenty of room for green peppers, tuna soup, and a toaster oven. I bet that'll fit where the paper clips used to be.
Interesting idea. How about this? What if you combined a pawn shop with like a Checkers or a Sonic? Can't decide between the Smith & Wesson or the Glock? How about a snack? You can order some tater tots and a pink lemonade from a chick on roller skates while you think about it. Tight on funds, but are also craving burgers for lunch? Well, let's just hock that unworn jewelry in exchange for burger and fries. All right, we must be stopped.
Thanks,
Let's play a song. This is Spires Part 7.
The stars unveil my long lost brother, I deny.
Forgive me, brother, for forsaking me. I let you drown into a willow tree.
As I took my final breath, it seemed I'm better off dead.
We shared stories throughout our years. Now we're relive them to silent.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about hum nutrition.
So, Hum Nutrition,
Animals, they're everywhere.
not endorsed by Gingers Everywhere,
Mhm.
but it is endorsed by us and also a sponsor of this show. So, Mark and I both enjoy our Hum supplements. We especially enjoy their gummies. They have those celery fiber ones where you never need to eat all that nasty kale. All your detoxifications are right there. Also, they have those apple cider gummies, which are quite tasty. Don't need to do that horrible shot of apple cider to help your metabolism. It's all right there for you. Red carpet to keep your skin and hair looking fabulous and thick. I use collagen pop every morning in my water at work. Gives you that little pop of collagen. Helps with my hamstring injury. They have some fabulous products. Not sure what's right for you? Go over to their website, take their quiz. List all your concerns, even if you're concerned about scary yellow cats.
They have a pill called Cat Eliminator. I think I need to take some.
So get over, that will save you off your first order, and you might find products that are perfect for you. They have a whole host of concerns, lists, even pregnancy vitamins. So check them out.
It is time for Wax of Contrition. Really excited about this one this week. We're going to be focused on, along with our cat Lush, Zeke's Death Alley from 2001. We're so evil, we're actually minus 666. Or so said lead singer and guitarist of Zeke at a show I attended about 20 years ago. Formed back in Seattle in 1993 by mainstays blind Marky Felchstone, his real name is Mark Yalowitz, and drummer Donnie Paycheck, Zeke spot welded speeding hardcore punk with classic rock and a love of hedonism as well as race cars. This approach led to an avalanche of 7-inch singles and their debut album Supersound Racing in 1995. In the meantime, Zeke played out everywhere with everybody, honing one of the deadliest live assaults in the genre, with Felchstone barking out indecipherable blitzkrieg song intros to kick off each one like he's quarterbacking an audible.
Donnie Paycheck is the only drummer I've ever witnessed that can hammer along at 172 beats per minute and flip the bird to the crowd between each beat.
It's a talent.
There are certain things you just don't learn in jazz theory class.
Good point.
The band would make a few tweaks in the lineup as the new decade approached, finally settling what I would consider the classic lineup of Mark, Donnie, Sonny Riggs on guitar, and Jeff Metz on bass, who would eventually go on to play in High and Fire and Mutoid Man.
Yep.
Anyone unfamiliar with song titles like West Seattle Acid Party, Fuck All Night, or 302 cubic inch V8 powered blues have some serious back catalog catching up to do. Let's play a song. This is Death Alley.
According to Felchtone, every Zeke album seemed to him like his last. He would typically quit the band after each release. Following several years with the Epitaph label and an outrageous number of live shows, Death Alley was composed quickly, supposedly because of a conversation he had with a fan who claimed he loved Zeke but hated metal. Marky claims that he recorded the album and then quit the band immediately. But there is something special about Death Alley, particularly compared to the rough and ready early 7 inches by the band.
Not only is every song peppered with Felchtone insane twisted leads, but the guitar harmonies woven into the mix are all but dazzling. Engineering, mixing, and mastering were handled by several quite capable individuals, including Black Flag Descendants drummer Bill Stevenson. The band's signature blend of hardcore fury and rock and roll style blasts out of the gates from the very first track, Crossroads, steamrolling through angry power chords, freakish screams, and blistering leads for a proggy 1 minute 39 seconds. Evidence of the band's progression from so many performances comes through strong in tracks like the mid-tempo Motorhead-informed Evil Woman, the pounding pitch earner Arkansas Man, Marky was born there, to the impossible sounding harmonies that kick off Into the Night, for a half hour of pure adrenaline that should please anyone who enjoys Thin Lizzy as much as they like Poison Idea. You can't top Death Alley.
Like it says on their website, zeku.com, congratulations, you just met your new favorite band. This is Arkansas Man. Okay, want to introduce the interview? Go ahead, Luce.
This is our chat with Ian of Axamenta. If you are not familiar with this crew, you may want to dive right in to their stuff on Spotify. If you really want to get a handle on how absolutely talented and slightly bonkers these guys are, check them out on YouTube. We talk in the interview a few about their videos, like How to Drink Tea Like a Man and Blast Christmas. If you haven't checked them out, go get them. Treat yourself.
He's not a Frenchie. He's a Belgie. Take it away.
Really admire, your blend of just this great dark music with this humor twist. We've just been obsessing over it. Yeah, I've discovered quite a bit. So love you guys.
Cool. Thanks.
Go ahead.
So I tried to figure out what Axamenta meant. And when I Googled it, it came up with it was this religious hymn and Satarian measure by the Sali. Is that where you came across it, or is it just a put together word?
That is what it means, yeah, and that's what the guys that started the band chose as a band name. But actually, Axamenta was founded in 1991, and I was 11 then, so I was not in there by that time. Was 3 guys, and they wanted to make death metal, so they started the band. Then I think 2 guys left. 4 other guys joined, one of them including Peter, who is still our vocalist. One of them, funny anecdote, was Yves Hutz, who played in Epica for 10 years as a bass player. So we went and found something else to do. And then only in 2002, I think I joined, and then the rest of the band the next year, I think, joined. So we were stuck with that name at that moment, and we kept it. So I think it's indeed something with heavenly chants, something.
Yeah.
There was a moment that we actually hated the name in 2008. We stopped Axamenta because the vocalist had problems with his vocals. He couldn't do live gigs anymore. And then we thought, okay, that's a good point, a good starting point now to go for clean vocals, to do more progressive music, and to change finally that band name because we hated it. But then we fell into yeah, we underestimated doing a band name change that you have to completely start at the beginning again. I was
Yeah.
not prepared for that, so
Yeah.
now we took the band name again because we knew we had some bit of following from the mid 2000s, so we can already have them back.
I
So yeah,
really like the thing you've come up with. Can I get an amen? And having the front and the back fall in, that makes it stick, you know? That
yeah,
was really smart.
yeah, that was just something I think like half a year ago we were saying. All of a sudden, I don't know who came up with it, but all of a sudden, hey, damn, Amen is actually in our band name. We never realized that. So it was, yeah, it was already written down in the list for 6 months ago that we would use that to in our promo campaign. Yeah, what a lucky coincidence.
Yeah.
The shirt's amazing too, with the palm with the eye. I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
So for you, what got you kind of into extreme music initially, and how was your family supportive of that?
My family has always been very, very supportive. I've never been really into the really extreme stuff. I think I started at 15. I actually, before 15, I never listened to music. It was just something I was playing with my friends and playing soccer and things like that. And no, I didn't listen to any music. And then my nephew got me into it, or cousin, I'm not sure. So the guy, the son of my uncle.
Okay.
He was playing a bit of guitar. He was playing Nirvana and Metallica and Iron Maiden and Megadeth. And then I also, oh, that's actually quite cool. I also picked up a guitar and started playing. And then, yeah, the world opened up to me. And then I found like bands like Dream Theater and Pain of Salvation and Symphonix. Yeah, that's the music that I like. Haken now, Periphery, things like that. Never really went. I played in a black metal band before, but yeah, it was not really my style of music.
Gotcha.
The really black and dead stuff. Although in Belgium, that's the stuff that people go wild for that. The
Now, I wanted to
really,
ask you about that. What are some like we really like the new Aborted album, and they're from
yeah,
Belgium. Is there like
yeah.
what are some bands that are in the Belgian metal scene? How is it like thriving or
Well, to be honest, I just, yeah, how do you say that? Reacquainted myself with the Belgian metal scene because I've been, yeah, as I said, from 2008, we stopped. Then I played in a pop band for 6 years. I had no idea anymore what were the big bands, but now since, yeah, the last half year, I've rolled back into it. I see some bands like Cobra the Impaler doing really very cool stuff. Really, really, I yeah. The thing is, before in Belgium, you had you had good bands, but they were always like a bit of, yeah, that's a good band because they sound like another band. Like
oh right. Right. Yeah.
there were no real um innovative bands. They were all like a copy, a bit of a lesser copy of existing bands, and then you could actually make, yeah, say, why not just listen to the good version of that they're trying to copy. But now you have really bands that are really breaking the mold and really doing awesome stuff. So Cobra the Impaler is one. Hippo Tractor, I'm not sure if you heard of those guys.
No.
Both of them actually just released an album. They're
Okay.
going both on tour. They're really for me, that's like the top of the Belgian scene, it seems, at the moment. And then you have like a Coffin Feeder with the vocalist of Aborted.
Okay.
And Aborted itself, of course. That's yeah. That we used to play with those guys back in the mid 2000s on a lot of bills, but they're still doing their thing. So that's crazy how long they've been doing this. Yeah, respect. But yeah, that's and for the rest, you then have like the trash bands that really do like the 80s trash, and you still have the death metal bands that do the 90s death metal, and the black metal bands that do the 90s black metal. But yeah, those other two, Hippo Tractor and Cobra the Impaler, that's like the new for me, the new really great bands from Belgium that are probably going to you will probably hear from in the coming years. It has very long been that artists in Belgium, not only the musicians, but also not only in metal, but also in pop and in rock. When you're from Belgium, it was also always seen like it's very difficult to get anywhere as a Belgian artist. I
Yeah.
think the last 10 years it has changed a bit, but yeah, I don't know how come that it's like that, but has always been like that. So maybe
Understand.
part of the. Sorry, you wanted to
Yeah.
ask something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you think it's because like the advent of like you can put yourself out on Spotify? You don't, need a label. You can put yourself out on YouTube. You don't need, approval. Do you think that makes it easier to kind of get out there?
I think so, yeah. I think those bands back then, they needed the label, and as I said, I think it was back then also for a Belgian band really difficult to get signed, especially on the bigger label. There were some small ones, but then still you get like some small tours, etc. But that's it.
Yeah.
I think yeah, that's part of the reason. Indeed, now as well, we do it ourselves, and it works a bit. It's difficult, but I can see it work if we just continue doing what we're doing, and for other bands as well. And let's see what happens. But indeed, it's much easier now to get your music out than it was 10, 15 years ago. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, you guys are very good at making an impression. The videos are very funny. A lot of the songs are just very interesting. I mean, do you ever feel like people might not take you seriously because you're humorous? Sometimes in metal you get
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I lie awake of that during the night. The problem is I really have it's really difficult for me to take myself serious.
Yeah, me too.
So
Yeah.
I always said we will never put jokes in our music itself, but apart from that, it's so difficult for me to make a serious video clip
Yeah.
because it's so by the end of the day, it's all fake. It's all it's all bullshit. We make music that we like, but why would we all of a sudden dress in black and look like we're evil, and
Yeah.
we're not like that at all. So it doesn't make any sense to portray ourselves like that just to sell an image. Yeah, I don't see but sometimes I think, yeah, but indeed, are people going to think that we're mocking them, or that we think of ourselves as a joke, that we shouldn't be taken serious, and that's yeah, we have to. I think we have to see in the next year or so what are the reactions on the video clips, and then we can maybe still pivot a bit, although we will still. I don't see myself making a 4-minute video clip without putting some
Yeah.
joke.
Well, I heard Primus in the late 80s and I thought, no one's gonna buy this. This is ridiculous music. Songs about fishing and the weird voice. And then of course 5 years later they were like headlining Lollapalooza. I couldn't
Yeah,
believe that they got popular the way they did. So
yeah.
you never know. And
Yeah.
every song of theirs was funny, so you never know. So,
Yeah. But that's like a stage further. That's really the songs themselves that are funny. And I love bands like that, like now Electric Callboy. I
Yeah.
think that's amazing. I want to do something as well like that, but yeah, it would be completely insane to try that with Axamenta, and it's our story is completely gone. But I love stuff like that as well, like Mr. Bungle. It's
Yeah, yeah.
really
I don't
some of
think
my
I
favorite
think those
bands.
bands were at the right time. Like, I don't think that if they had hit like 5 years earlier or tried, I don't think that, like, the 90s were weird, I guess. So they were ready for the
Yeah,
weirdness of the 90s.
yeah.
Yeah, here or locally we have Dog Fashion Disco, which has been a long running act, and they are always, dark songs, but also with the dark humor, and it really works
Tons
well.
of orchestration, tons of different instruments, and
But when I hear your music and I like it, and then I look you up on Metal Archives and I see that Dungeons and Dragons
yeah,
picture,
yeah,
it immediately makes me like you that much more. It's not
All
five
right,
grimy guys
cool.
covered.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Does
Yeah,
anyone actually play?
no. Actually, no.
That was a
No.
great shattered, you guys on the playground or somewhere else, or somebody's balancing a ball on their head. It makes me that much more interested. This isn't the run of the mill five grimy guys.
Yeah.
I like it. It shows the intelligence. It makes me that much more interested.
Okay, cool. So that means that it's working on
It's
some
working.
people
Yes,
already.
100.
Yeah, good.
We listen to a lot of music, so we're very
Yeah.
picky.
So I was really intrigued with the creation of Blast Christmas. I immediately wanted an entire Christmas album from you guys as soon as I
She kind of drove me crazy with it. Like, she played it over and over again. Yeah, she
Really.
really likes it. Yeah.
So what was kind of the impetus for that getting kind of put out there?
In the yeah, the idea was actually for this album Spires to come out way earlier. And we just wanted to have already a few songs before. I read a lot of stuff on the internet and about Spotify and algorithms and how to promote yourself as a band and a lot of difficult stuff. And well, one of the things that came out was that they said, don't start with your best material because the algorithm will say, who's this new band? What the hell? We're not going to show this to anyone. So my idea was, well, the idea was at that moment, we're going to release a few songs, like 2 or 3 before, and then we will have Spires. Of course, that last Christmas is like a year and a half old. So in the end, we had so many issues that it took a very long time to release it. But the idea was to have a few tracks. And I remember being in the kitchen doing something, and Last Christmas was on the radio because it was like the 21st or something of December. And all of a sudden I thought, oh my God, Blast Christmas. That's going to be so funny. And I put it in my WhatsApp, and immediately the guys were sending lyrics back of, yeah, we can do this and this. Like,
That's great.
last Christmas, I gave you my heart, or I ate a heart. I or don't remember the lyrics anymore, but and we actually put that together in like 3 days to still have it released before Christmas.
That's great.
But in the end, we didn't put it on Spotify because we thought, yeah, it's maybe a bit too silly to to have this as our first official song in like 15 years. So we didn't do it. And the other covers we also didn't do. We had some Katy Perry lined up and some other stuff, but in the end, we would have to put too much energy in those covers instead of just putting it in the EP. So we chose that. And luckily, otherwise it would probably still not be out. So
What's the So what was the who had the idea for the how to drink tea like a man thing? Because I've watched that several times and I'm still getting my head around it.
Well, the drummer showed us an Instagram channel that only shows breakdowns of songs. Like, but it's insane that the new, like, it's especially progressive metalcore. Those breakdowns are insane. I've never heard stuff like that. It's like it's always like silence, then some scream, something really evil, and then like a truck driving in your house,
Right.
like and then the images were always so gnarly, and so sometimes also a guy that was what how I came with the idea. There was a guy singing and he was headbanging, but he was just sitting on his chair. So it was like, man, I've never seen that before. That's that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then I was thinking, like, what if we're all five just sitting at a table and like headbanging like crazy? And then the idea came of let's do like a high tea British
Yeah.
thing, like eating crumpets or I don't know what. And
Did
then
you
and but
actually
then
have
do
tea in that pot?
yeah. And we ate all that stuff, and we were like we didn't drink any alcohol, and we were all hungover the next day from the sugar. We were really sick.
It's great.
Oh, it was super, super smart. I like the way you did the little disclaimer. We're not a metalcore band.
Yeah, indeed, because it actually went on that channel. Then we then said we recorded something especially for this channel, and they allowed it.
I know what you mean, though. There's breakdowns. They're almost like jump scares in horror movies. You
Yeah.
know, it kind of
Yeah,
reminds me of that. You know,
yeah, it's funny
so
stuff.
intense. You know,
Yeah.
So what was kind of the catalyst that got you out of hiatus and back into recording Spires?
Yeah, it was like a lot of bands, Corona, yeah, the lockdown here
Mm.
in Europe. Um, and there was a guy that has like a YouTube channel, and I guess he was also bored. He didn't have any work anymore, and he said, "Let's do a top 100 best Belgian metal songs ever." And we came up all of a sudden after, yeah, we stopped in 2008 and it was 2020 and we were at, yeah, in the top 50 with a song. And we were like, oh, there are still people that seem to care for us. And we were already in a a group. And yeah, I proposed like, yeah, wouldn't it be funny to release a new song, but just like a track? And then and then I was thinking, yeah, but maybe it would be cool if we would release like a long track, like to really show that we can still do it. That was but not really doing anything with it. Um, and then we went to drink one time after like when the lockdown was done, and then we would still say, yeah, we should still we should really start working on a track. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, we should really start working on it. And nobody did anything. Um, and then we had a barbecue planned like 2 months in advance, and I thought as a joke, I had well, it's an elaborate joke. I thought I had some time off. Why don't I just make the whole track and then show it to them during the barbecue? And it was like, yeah, it was like the first version, a 17-minute song. And I said, yeah, actually, that track we talked about, I made it. You want to hear it? And then they yeah, we went into a room, we listened to it, and they said, and we all looked at each other, and they said, yeah, okay, let's start the band again. Let's do this.
that's
So
cool.
that was that was a start, and then
I'm
it was
also
2
curious,
years
what kind
of labor.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God. What kind of food do you have at a Belgian barbecue?
Meat.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, if it was we call it, yeah, like a man's barbecue, and then it's just meat, nothing else. If there are women involved, then it's a lot of salads and all these kind of
That's true.
fancy
Yeah.
things.
The same here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's, yeah, probably it's very similar to what you do in the States. Although I sometimes see in movies that you like make burgers and things like that, and we sometimes do that, but that's not really typical for a Belgian barbecue.
burgers and ribs and hot dogs and corn
Speaking
on the
of
cob.
speaking
Yeah,
of
hot dogs.
Belgian bands, I might be wrong, but is the band Brutus from Belgium with the girl drummer? The girl
Yeah, yeah,
drummer?
yeah,
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 wow, they're really something. Yeah.
yeah.
They don't sound like anybody else. I mean,
No, it's really cool. Yeah, they always there's like a top 100 in on our one of our rock radios
yeah,
stations. They do a top 100 every year,
yeah.
and of all metal over the whole world, and they were like number 1 and number 2 last
Wow,
few
yeah.
years. So yeah, they're really they have a massive following here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I saw the video of her, she was just sitting and singing, and I didn't realize she was the drummer. And then she starts, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's the drummer!"
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
I,
Yeah,
I haven't seen them live yet, but it seems it's yeah, it's quite a spectacle. It's quite how do you say that confusing for people that Belgian metalers that yeah were already a metaler in the 90s because there was also a Dutch Brutus, which was
oh,
really a death metal band.
okay,
And now
yeah.
it's sometimes now as well being said Brutus. I thought you meant the Dutch death metal band.
Ah, okay, yeah. Well, we've talked to a lot of drummers, and a lot of them say, or that sing, and a lot of them say that they can't do both because either the drumming would suffer or the singing would suffer. But
Hmm.
there's some that can still pull it off, and she's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, no,
yeah, you don't see that often, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, because like we were explaining to us, you gotta like sing to the side, so you're basically drumming blind,
Yeah,
you know?
and they're already doing like 4 different things at the same time. It's
I heard they're
yeah.
really taking over some of the festivals. Like people are walking away from the festivals going, "Wow," Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, back to this album. I love how dark the cover is on Spires. Very different than the Ever Architecture looking. But I with the Ever Architecture, you kind of had all those hidden things in it. Are there hidden things in Spires artwork?
In the artwork, maybe yeah, a few details maybe, but no, it's not. Yeah, in Ever Architecture, we put like I'm not sure if you saw the booklet ever with all the newspaper articles and. We put like, especially the other guitar player, he did all the artwork, Sven. Back then, he was like months of work
I
in
believe it.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it took him. He made every article from scratch.
That can
This
take
one,
longer than doing the music, like.
yeah, yeah, indeed, yeah. We're like, we never can do something like just okay, yeah, just put a artwork on there and the lyrics. Although we did that a bit now for the EP because we decided 1 week before the release that we were going to print CDs. So
Okay.
that was a really last minute thing. But yeah, we've always been of the idea of if we're going to do artwork, why not put some thought in it and do something that has never been done before, or do something really interesting or unique with it. Yeah, so indeed. But now for Spires, actually we did not really do that, no. Yeah.
Does look like a movie poster.
It does.
Yeah, we just loved the artwork so much. So
Yeah,
we didn't do it ourselves either. It's made by Darren Leach, one of your fellow Americans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I know he does a lot of thriller albums. So I knew him from my other profession, let's say.
Okay.
He
Oh.
makes like half of the album covers in that scene. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's so dark and foreboding. The concept for Ever Architecture kind of you had that it was like 3 chapters that it kind of divided. What was the chain reaction that keeps getting referenced?
Yeah, oh my God, I did not dig back in the in that insane story that we cooked up back then, but it had something to do with the fact that our idea was a person dying will reincarnate, but not just in the, let's say you die and then somewhere in India at the same time somebody gets born. Our theory was that they get reborn, but not linked, how do you say, to time. So they could be born again in the 1600s, that soul, let's say. And then he dies and then he borns again somewhere else in 2300, whatever. And then if you take that theory and you take it further, it means that actually every person on Earth that has ever lived is the same person, actually, because he always reincarnated to
Right.
another person. And our idea was that there is some sort of higher reality that takes energy from that loop. And then at some point, they merge the first and the last person. So the very first person is the first song, and the last person is the second song. That's the introduction of those two characters. He's the very first person who is really implemented on Earth to start reincarnating, and then you have the very last person, and then on that bridge in England over the Thames, they get merged, and that's the chain reaction because then the loop starts over.
Okay.
That's the idea.
I got it.
It sounds like a major motion picture. Yeah.
If Netflix is watching, we're open to
Yeah.
offers.
Open to offers. Yeah.
But I want at least Tom Cruise
Okay.
feature.
There you go.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's no deal.
So Spires is kind of a continuation of that universe. So where does the story pick up?
Well, actually, on that same bridge, there is a church. Well, not on the bridge itself, but on the mainland. And there lives a priest who has been, he's been ridden with guilt because his brother died years ago. He drowned, and he still feels guilty about that. So that's what drove him to the clergy, and so he's living in that church. And in the last weeks of he has been seeing a lot of strange phenomena in his church, like small children in dark clothes in the middle of night running through his church, black liquid that comes down from the walls, like a machine rumbling that he hears. And it's actually because I think in Act 6 there's some references about it, that he sees people fighting on the bridge, and that's actually the last song of Ever Architecture, where the first and the last person are fighting and then they get merged together. So he sees that. And actually all those strange things that are happening, like those horror things happening in the church, that's actually just the how do you say that, the reality manifesting itself, that energy that is going to be released by merging them at that place at that time is manifesting itself already a few weeks before that, something like that. Yeah. So he's just a bystander that witnesses an event that happens in Ever Architecture, but that's something we did to link it to the story. Yeah.
I love the intricacy of it. I agree. This definitely should be a major motion
Yeah.
picture. This is better than The Matrix.
Yeah. I noticed on the last album the song titles are longer. This one, they're all one word. Was that kind of done on purpose?
Yeah, I actually I think it's just like a stylistic thing also for maybe now in the 2000 in this era, that it's the thing that bands do, and it for me also it feels better to have like shorter titles than to have some very long and pompous thing of words that nobody understands. I'm not into that anymore, and it's basically something when I made like an outline of the story, I put those things already in there, like Act 1, and then I just Googled on Wikipedia what are the parts of a cathedral, and let's do like every time where they are in the story. They're first at the hallway, because in the first song he actually is doing his mass, and then he gets visions, and he yeah, he tells everyone to get out of his church. He's like a lunatic all of a sudden, and he drives everyone off, and he's then at his the narthex. It's the like the front gate of the cathedral. And then the story goes, he goes to the pulpit, he goes into the crypt, and then he goes up to the spires, yeah, in the last one. So just something I wrote at the very beginning, and it stuck there. Yeah, we never replaced it, so everyone thought it was cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
It reminds me of the end of Vertigo when he's got to go up to the top to meet his
Yeah.
like fate. That's kind of like
Yeah, it's
thought it was
similar.
funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, we play a game on the show.
All right.
Let's see what you think of the game. It's called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. It's
Okay.
very simple. There's 5 band names in front of me. One is made up. So you're going to try to guess which one is not a real band. Okay. Okay. Sinister Pride, Sinister Sacrament, Sinister Urge, Sinister Superstar, and Sinister Wand.
And one of them doesn't exist.
One of them is not real. 4 of them are actual bands.
Sinister Wand is really a stupid band name, but who knows? Who knows? There might be. I hope they're not watching, but Sinister Urge is also quite specific. Well, it can be. My mind already goes in a very wrong place with hearing that, but maybe they meant it differently. I'm going for the Wand.
Sinister Wand. They're traditional heavy metal from Boston. And they have a couple of demos 2021. So
Yeah, and
Sinister
annex to
Wand.
that, I wanted to say it's a stupid band name, unless if it's power metal, it's okay. Then it works.
Or like sleaze metal, because it could be like, check out my Sinister Wand, baby. You know,
Oh no, put that away.
it could be like a double entree type of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that leaves Sinister Pride, Sinister Sacrament, Sinister Urge, and Sinister Superstar.
Sinister Superstar, really, yeah, I see that working. It's I don't know what kind of, yeah, they're probably some new metal or something with hip hop influences or something. I don't know. Let's do Sacrament.
Sinister Sacrament is from Gibraltar, of all places. They have one full length. They're like a Black and Doom. I think it's one guy too, because the picture on Metal Archives is just one guy with the holding the goat head. So
I'm not doing well.
no, the one that I made up was Sinister Urge. That's not real.
Ah, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
Sinister Superstar is actually black metal from South Africa. They have 4 EPs and one full length.
Black
Some of these
metal.
names. Sinister Pride is from Pennsylvania. Yeah, really weird.
Okay.
I just wonder how unanimous these names are when they get picked, you know.
Sinister Superstar, a black metal band. I don't see that
Yeah.
at all working.
Yeah, I'm sensing a language barrier issue there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
they speak Dutch there, so
yep. So
It was Crosby. It was like some
You-
reference to Bill Crosby.
there was one that had like a reference to Bill Cosby. It was like,
Bad Crosby
like-
or something. I was like, really?
Yeah.
That's what you got?
yeah, anyway. So bad band names. Yeah.
All right, so I had a few.
You should feel better about your band's name now.
well, yeah.
So I loved your guitar playthrough of Synopsis. It was neat to see how fast you fly on those melodic parts.
Yeah.
Was that hard to master for you, or is that something that kind of came naturally?
No, that doesn't come naturally to me. No, I'm yeah. How to say that? I was a much better guitar player back in 2005, 2006, when we recorded Ever Architecture, I watched like 10 years later a video of me playing stuff there in the studio, and I was like, damn, I'm never able to do that anymore. But now I practice a lot now with writing the new stuff and having to, of course, record it. It's always better that you really, really can play the riffs really good before hitting record, because you can still, yeah, you hear it if you like just barely get through them. You can then, if you want, you can put all the notes correct, etc. But still, you hear it. So I rather really make sure that I can really nail the part in one go. I of course I don't play a 23-minute song in one pass, so I did it
Right.
riff by riff. But yeah, last year I practiced a lot to be able, also for this playthrough, I had to really practice a
Yeah.
lot, especially that last part. That was not easy.
Yeah.
And I probably now, if you give me a guitar, I will not be able to do it anymore. I'm already lost it again, but yeah.
Yeah. For whenever I see old footage of me, I always just say, was I really that skinny? Wow. That's what I always say. Forget the guitar. I'm like, I want to look like that again, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you flip it over for like the slide guitar parts, what is that instrument you're using to kind of draw that out on?
Well, the actual instrument that is used on the album is like a virtual instrument that I programmed. So all the orchestra and all the special instruments are all programmed. But now for the video, I thought like, yeah, now there is like a part where there's no guitar. So what am I going to do? So then I remembered I did that once with a spoon on your acoustic guitar. It actually works and it sounds similar. So I recorded that. So what you hear in the playthrough is actually the spoon
Oh,
part.
wow.
So that's not, I took out the album instrument and I replaced it with the spoon thing. It's just an acoustic guitar with a spoon. So nothing else, but it sounds quite cool. Yeah.
I liked your upside down glasses too. That was good.
Yeah.
So for Pulpit, did the same vocalist do all three, like the harsher, the kind of cleaner, and like the whispers, or was it different people?
No, there are a lot of vocalists on our album. So we have the really the Shagrat voice, let's say,
Yeah.
the vocals on the verse. That's Niklas. That's a guy we knew from also from 15 years ago. We shared stages with a lot. He now plays in a band Artifacts that are also going to release their album. Really, really amazing vocalists. He also did like the voice or the spoken parts. He was
Who did the
he's
like John Anderson from Yes parts, the super melodic stuff towards the
that's
end of it?
That's Sven Dupont, also a guy we already know from a long time. He did all the backings and the very high stuff. He's
Yeah.
also amazing vocalist.
Really amazing. Yeah.
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 Also the guy recording the vocals, he was like, damn, because yeah, all the lines that he did, you can then run like a vocal tuner on the lines afterwards to still see if it was okay, and all his parts were like, didn't
Yeah.
have to change anything, was like a straight line. Amazing.
Yeah.
The whispers I just recorded here, I whispered, that was easy enough. And then the chorus, that is me together with backings from Sven, and then also a third vocalist, Louis, who also did like fried vocals.
Right.
So it's really like three
A lot of
different
different textures. Yeah.
vocals that you hear. Yeah, yeah. And then our main vocalist, Peter, he did all the grunts and all the album. Yeah.
I also really liked Crypt. It was so creepy and foreboding, and I was like trying to figure out if it was like the priest going crazy because of his guilt and hallucinating, or if it was like actual specters.
Well, it's the priest that is seeing like a how do you say that, like the an image of his brother. That is then the clean vocals is his brother that is talking to him. Um, yeah, that's a bit of the story between that. He says then, uh, don't forget that you let me die in the lake, things like that. And yeah, indeed, that song for some reason seems to resonate with most people because we keep an eye on a bit on the Spotify stats, and for some reason that one is sticking out. I was expecting it would just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that order, that people drop off after a while, but no, that Act 4 for some reason is doing very well. So we know what people want for the next album.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in that. It's a short EP. I mean, are you going to kind of stick with that format, or are you going to go? Do you see yourself going back to like a 40-minute record, or
Well, our Ever Architecture was 64 minutes, which
Right.
way too long, took way too much time. The idea is now we don't want to fall in the trap of now saying, okay, now we're going to make a great album and then be gone again for 3 years. That's we want to keep the momentum going, and the plan is to, at the end of the year already, to have a track released, and then do something like every 2 months release a track, just to you have to play the game now, like the algorithm game. You cannot stay silent for 2 years and then expect everyone drops everything to listen at your stuff. So we're going to do it like that. We're working actually on 2 EPs at the same time now. So with an even crazier story.
I can't
Completely
wait.
separate
So glad that you said
from the
that.
other, but yeah, it seems to be, it looks, it's going to be quite good. Yeah, I'm positive. Yeah.
when you were talking about reading about the algorithm, I will try that, and then after a while, I can't stand it anymore because I think it contradicts itself, and nobody really knows for
No,
any of
yeah,
these social media apps. Nobody really knows. They just, I think they reverse course, without us knowing.
yeah,
You're not supposed to
yeah.
really know.
I don't like it either. I'm happy that on YouTube our album itself, the video that just plays our album, and the video clip are doing. Yeah, the video clip is already doing a bit less, but the album is doing quite well. We have like, I think, around 5,000 views now, which is not bad.
Right.
Other videos that we release, sometimes they don't do anything. It's like 10 views and then it dies. So I'm like, what's happening here?
You ever get any really weird feedback comments, like crazy comments?
Not yet, no. All the comments were super positive at the
That's
moment,
cool.
so we're so grateful. Yeah. No, nothing strange. I think we saw one. I can't remember anymore. It was not on our video. Some other channel asked the first day that it got released. They asked, can we post it on our channel as well? And we said, yeah, okay, that's fine. And there was like a comment like completely out of the blue, like, this is bull, this is shit, and like like really so over the top that, yeah, okay. So we could tick off that box, like our first hate
Yeah,
uh hate comment. So that means that we're doing something
you're
good, I
doing
think.
something
We
right. Yeah, you're
did
breaking
tick
away
off.
from friends and family. That's
Yeah,
that's what that means.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we get weird questions like, do you guys write your own reviews? Like, who else would write them if we didn't write them?
Would
Like,
we be reading someone
reading
else's?
someone else's
Kind of
reviews. It's
pointless.
just kind of whatever. Yeah, but we write them all. In your review, I said that that one song sounded like Shagrath walked in on Toto rehearsing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That was great. I love that. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
very unique. Yeah, I've not heard I've not heard it before, and never will I ever again probably. But it was
Well, I
yeah,
mean, those two voices couldn't be more different. I
put a
mean, the
smile on
song
my face.
starts off like Thorns or something, and then by the end, it's like John Anderson. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So really something.
I will let Sven know that he's a massive Toto fan. He even has
Oh
the
yeah.
guitar from Lukather.
Oh, he does.
He's
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
That's great. I see. I
cool.
had no idea. I was just shooting in the dark there. But
Yeah, yeah, no, it was cool
they
guy.
won. They won so many Grammys. They really did well. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they were huge. Yeah.
Amazing band. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I was like buying albums when I was a girl, and I was between H2O and Toto. And I was standing there for so long. My dad was like, "Here's the extra money. Just buy them both." I was like,
Well, Toto were a little more than like Survivor. They had like some Steely Dan connections or something, I think. They were musicians.
Yeah.
They weren't just like playing like, I don't know, brainless AOR. I mean,
No, no. And
yeah.
it's still yeah, the music is still awesome, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it holds up.
Yeah. And Steely Dan. Oh,
Mm.
yeah, also damn. What a band.
A
Fuck.
band that can say, we don't feel like touring anymore. And the record label goes, okay. Because they're selling so many records that's just
Still?
crazy, Yeah.
Yeah.
"Oh, I really love the Spires video. Where did that dramatic first sequence? Was that like inspired by something or a
Oh, the
parody
guy
of
and the
something?"
girl? The
Yeah.
guy and the girl thing, yeah. With the
With the
car.
car and the earring and
Yeah. Oh, we've been working on that for a year. I'm not sure anymore how the brainstorm went, but yeah, we're a new band now. We don't have any funding, or we have to pay everything from our own pocket. So we said we have to do it ourselves, but because we cannot pay a crew for this. So I started buying some gear, doing some courses, some YouTube movies about everything. And then I realized, oh fuck, it's so hard. It's not just pointing and shooting. This is like color
Uh-huh.
grading and editing and all that stuff that come and understanding how a camera works to begin with, and the yeah, the what do you call it, light, yeah, how lighting works,
Oh
how to
yeah, there's so
light
much
it.
to that. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And then I thought, yeah, we have to make a video clip, but it has to be something that I know that we can pull off with the little knowledge that we had. So then I was thinking, yeah, maybe let's do like an 80s or 90s last scene of an action movie, and then when the credits roll, our song starts. Like it's that
Right.
like that they chose our song as end credits.
Right. Right.
And then we just had some friends doing the parts, and we know some really special people like that. Yeah, that guy that did he's like a known very colorful person here in the region, so it was perfect for that. And then yeah, we went from
Your
there.
video where you wanted feedback and then you'd put us on the credits, we we got on there. We're confused 3-year-old.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
that was very clever marketing, kind
Yeah, it
of,
really was. Yeah.
get people
I've never seen that
interested,
before.
and
Yeah.
then they're already interested in you, and then they're gonna watch, the whole thing. So that was very clever.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
had to
that was
watch it really close, like, right, back it up, back it up. Yeah.
yeah. The idea was that people then would like share it as well, saying, "Look, I've made it in a video clip." That was the idea as
On the
well.
93rd line down is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I said before as well. If we do a video clip, why not put something unique in it? And then yeah, I was really worried that with some things like that can completely fail, of course, as well, because it's so out of the box that it can be like, well, what are these guys doing?
I
But
know
I
what you
hope
mean.
it's still a bit, yeah, it could stand a bit on its own.
Yeah, and I love all the costumes for the dance scene. It looks like you guys went into like a thrift shop and just the first thing you put your hand on is what you had to wear.
Yeah,
It-
we just put it took it from our closet. Yeah.
oh, I love it.
Nothing special.
So how did you guys get into recording trailer music for like the horror pictures that you've done? And it's odd. It's was it on purpose that it's all horror movies?
No, that was just coincidence. So that yeah, that I've been doing music for quite a while. And then in 2018, or 2017, something like that. I was really like, I would be cool if I could make some money with music instead of always putting money in it and nothing working. And then I found like a course from people that show how trailer music is made and how you can make that as well, because most people think that trailer music is music from the movie. But that's not the case, because usually when the promo starts for a movie, the composer has to probably still needs to start with the score, because the composer is always at the complete end of the movie making process. So usually they start only the last 2 months or something. They start, and then the trailers are already on YouTube or on television.
Right.
And it's just a formula that you have to follow, like begin, middle, end, and then like a final, something like that. It's always the same, but you can really put like always a special ingredient in it. And I then worked for like 9 or 10 different trailer music companies. And then I say, for instance, okay, now we need music for like hip hop trailer adventure music for this type of music, like the Goonies type movies. And then there was also an album of a trailer company in Croatia, and they wanted a horror album with like organic horror, they call it. So it's like with very compressed wood clicks and like very sound design driven, with jump scares and very
Yeah.
really horror, like the trailers of horror movies you see now. And I made 3 songs for that album, and they got so much use. So indeed, the one got used in Old from Night Shyamalan, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And then
M.
another
Night
one,
Shyamalan. I did notice that on
yeah,
the old one.
Yeah.
Shyamalan, yeah. I always forget. And then one got used in the Pope's Exorcist, yeah,
Right.
and also in a few other things. So
That's great. Yeah.
yeah, that's a really cool way of working. Yeah, it's really fun. But in the end, I liked the group, the band thing more, and I got a bit tired of I had to make a song every week, at least one, and then after a while you get really completely numb. And I was already as at the last weeks I was really fearing of going to my desk, because I knew I had to make a song, and will I have
Yeah.
the energy and the
Yeah.
creativity? And then like playing in a metal band is much more. It flowed out of me when I had to start with Spires. So it was a good combination to do both.
Did you guys get lured out to play a festival live?
We had a lot of offers already since we
Good.
announced that we would be back. That's like 2 years ago. I think we had like maybe 15 or 20 opportunities already, but it's just not possible. We all have a family now.
Yeah.
Even if we do like that T video, we have like a good idea of, let's do that T video. Okay, when can we meet? And then we have to launch a doodle, and then it's really like, okay, in 2 months we can all make it. So no way that we will ever be able to rehearse or to to get ready for a show. It
I
would take
understand.
years. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then we rather don't do it, because it would probably not not be good enough anyway for in our minds. So we'd rather not do it and just leave it like this and put our energy in making new music.
Well, good. I can't wait for the new stuff.
Yep, sounds
I'm
great.
completely obsessed and addicted already.
Yep.
Right? Cool.
The sounds of decay!
Okay, Sounds of Decay 1. Let's go.
This is Inner with Hybris. Interesting fact about the town of Madrid. It has been the capital of Spain since the 17th century. It is home to one of the oldest restaurants in the world, Chile Chilearos, established way back in 1725. It is the only city with a monument to Satan. The statue of fallen Lucifer in Madrid's Retiro Park, exactly 666 meters above sea level.
I love it.
Plus, it is home to an impressive, relatively new 5-piece sludge metal band, Inearth, who just dropped their new EP, Hybris, last month. Formed in 2019, Inearth already have a full-length 3 EPs under their collective Chalapas.
Hybris is 4 unbelievably punishing songs that squeal, bounce, and pulverize over the course of about 20 minutes. Journeyman vocalist Santiago Paz shows a flair for vocals of both the harsh woofy and clean variety. The rhythm section of drummer Jay Moya and bassist Raymond Rodriguez are the foundation for the band's phenomenal heaviness, combining for a sound not unlike being trampled by bulls. The mood is doomy, the riffs simultaneously scraggly and crushing, and their knack for wandering through mellow, clean segments augments their power to pulverize expertly.
For an example of the light and shade this band can dial up, the 6+ minute epic Oblivion may be the best starting point. A track that cycles through guitar, evil squalls, charge up Golgotha tempos, and lyrics like miseries of a country obsessed with despising its memories. May not be the perfect soundtrack for Grandpop's retirement party, but the way the song cycles through a Neurosis-style clean passage that leads to a crushing double-time crescendo for the track's highlight is a must-hear.
Fentanyl is a hard charger from the very first note. Drummer Moya really showing his flair for deft, thunderous double bass aptitude. But the one you really got to hear is the one we're going to play for you now, AI. Just listen to this wounded crawl and that hefty bass tone buzzing in your ear that kicks it off. Around 1.5 minutes in, the track shifts to a hardcore pace to get the pit going. Essentially, the rest of the song is a push-pull between pounding speed and lurching doom, both of which are performed venomously. So head over to Inearth's Bandcamp page and download a copy of this tasty Spanish omelet. Don't forget to schedule your next vacation at Retiro Park to pay your homage to the Dark Lord. This is AI.
This is a Trey Billis with Homicide. When we filed in with the black t-shirted masses into the Shamrock Inn a few weeks ago, we were actually there to see another band. While watching the opening acts, serendipity intervened, and we were very struck by the dynamic and technically proficient performance of this quartet from Vancouver. I think I said something dumb after to the vocalist Jordan Berglund after their set, comparing them to Knocked Loose. After a much deeper dive into their latest album, it was the pachyderm heavy percussion that was similar, and the fact that Berglund and Knocked Loose's Brian Garris both have that clean cut, might be there to do your taxes look, and then proceeds to scream the color off the walls. However, this is where any similarity between those two bands ends.
Atrabilis is Latin for black bile, hearkening back to a book written in 1621 by Robert Burton, The Anatomy of Melancholy, a study theorizing that the preponderance of this substance is the reason for depression. Add to that the futuristic concept of the latest album, Homicide, that has a sci-fi storyline of a test subject trapped in a lab, subject to experiments that simulate different levels of hell. Their sound is also quite the mashup. Old school death metal, black metal oscillating warbles, and modern industrial effects on full display in these 10 new tracks ranging from 2 to 6 minutes for a runtime of just over 40 in total. It's like Gorguts meets Suffocation. In the opening instrumental track, Protoxenesis, after a feedback intro, the tritone oscillating death metal guitar reverb-filled tones of David Stepan-Vicious show off his prowess, while the metallic blast beats of Luka Govnik roll into doom rolls and back again. The hard panning adds to the dramatic effect. The other instrumental, Homicide, features alternating notes in a plaintive riff and a rampant of drums. The tempo slows to doom speed, while the initial riff reappears in infectious circles of jangles that stacks up the dense atmosphere.
In Hell Simulation, Berglund works himself up into a crazy tribal-like headbanging dance until he summons that demon inside to deliver that low vocal rasp full of toxicants. The guitar lines are a repeating hooky down-tuned melodic strain. Miles Morrison picks equally reverberant tones from his bass. Gavednik drums with maniacal velocity with an occasional rollout before returning to full throttle. Then they throw in this industrial tech effect that makes the whole thing gurgle and blip for an instant. Berglund trades his growl for a higher pitched shriek. The drums start to resemble the beating of a helicopter as many voices join in a fiendish choir. Some standouts include A Kingdom of Cortisol, with Gavednik's pummeling beats and much cymbal manhandling over the ethereal tones. Berglund's vocals sound like a vexed imp ripped into our plane, punctuating the lines here and there with an "oh." At other times, other voices stack in. There are a few seconds here and there of full stops. Stepan-Vicious's guitar soars like a wailing siren near the end. Excruciate Incarnate has that 3 notes sprightly off-kilter descent that breaks into some innocuous crunchy riffing. That effect distorts all to static briefly. The vocals here are in a higher enraged shriek. The bass and drum line play off each other as thick as thieves in a percussive force.
I think my favorite track is Salted and Stygia, with guitar work ranging from death metal pop up and down the scale to smoothed out flowy leads. Morrison has a bass breakout and pulls out thick, sonorous tones. The glitch effect appears here again, too, sounding somewhere between the creature in Predator and the invasion of the Upside Down in Stranger Things. Atrabilis is cerebral, complex, technically proficient death metal, solid as a brick wall songwriting. I think even Robert Burton would find catharsis for his depression by diving into the story that ends with a new era, Erigagore, engineered by absolute godlessness. Plus, it's on $20 spin. For those with less heady pursuits, that should be ringing endorsement right there. When we are fortunate enough to catch these guys live again, I can predict with certainty that they're going to be in a bigger venue. So this is a song called Salted in Stygia. Okay, Sounds of Decay 3.
This is Mayhemic, Toba. When someone says the words Chilean thrash metal, what is your reaction? I personally start drooling like some Pavlovian dog, anticipating the pounding percussion, aggressive riffing, and shrill leads made famous by bands from Latin America, vicious and over the top. Well, this 5-piece from Penaflor, Santiago, have been owning their craft since originally forming in 2018 to the tune of a couple of EPs and a handful of singles. But this, their first full-length, Toba, is everything you would hope for and more from a band from this region.
I mean, tighten your bullet belts for this one because Toba is 8 songs that flash by in about 37 minutes, and they offer it all. Hairy, bestial vocal shrieks, out of control percussion, and a seemingly endless arsenal of riffs. A concept album that follows the story of the Toba volcanic eruption over 70,000 years ago. This album should be an oral feast for any fan of Dark Angel or early Sepultura, which, I mean, honestly, why would you be watching the show if you're not into those two bands? I mean, come on. And check out that artwork. It's fucking killer. Those wishing to party like it's 1986 need to look no further than Triumph Portal, a track that scrambles out of the block with ridiculous double bass eruptions, soon adorned by the delightful mill-informed vocal rasp of guitarist Doom. Check this out. He and the other guitarist, not Tromba, they split the vocals in each song. Each one of them takes 4 tracks. Plus, they play guitar. It's crazy. About 2 minutes in, it becomes apparent that these guys are even more next level than we thought, because they pull a trick out of their hat so crucial to those early Sepultura records. I used to call it the bonus riff. Remember how the Cavalleros, like 3/4 into the song, would pull out like a little rifflet that they were holding back on, and it would just up the intensity to end the song? These guys are also adept at this practice. It's awesome.
Of course, also on offer are shitloads of squealing, thorny leads, glorious like a tattoo needle in your ear. Hazardous Prowler is another killer that straddles the line between speed and thrash. Doom preaching the story of the hazardous astral prowler and the dreams crushed by a colossus from space. The instrumental here needs to be mentioned as well. Estilogical Symphony, the 2 guitarists really strutting their stuff, trading off leads over drummer Leviathan's speed riffs reminiscent of those early Destruction records. Have I gushed enough for you to go check this thing out? Honestly, this is pure headbanger's delight, and it's going to end up on a lot of year-end top 10 lists, so don't forget where you heard about it first. Volcanic rock, people, it's gonna be huge. Let's play a song. This is Hazardous Prowler.
Good show. Good show. Combination restaurants and disasters involving tall trees.
I tell you, it doesn't take long. We only have one tree that's even close to our property, the one out front.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a hurricane comes through, I suspiciously eye it and try to figure out which way it's going to fall if it does.
Yeah, basically, if you're living under tall trees, you're living in fear like all the
Oh
time.
my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I do believe this is our first show in a while with Lush as co-host.
He's either like all over it or wants nothing to do with it. This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Ian from Axamenta for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Jord of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone from Lair of the Minotaur. Season 3 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. Sounds of Decay bands, check them out. Mayhemic, Atrabilis, and In Earth. All content 2024, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
Call the tree, guys! There's killer elms out there!
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.